Welcome to today's class on differential geometry. Today we discuss parallel transport. A vector field x along a parameterized curve alpha from I to S in an n surface S is tangent to S along alpha if x of t belongs to S alpha of t for all t in I. The derivative x dot of such a vector field is, however, generally not tangent to S. You consider S alpha t, then you know that this is n of alpha of t, then x dot of alpha of t will be like this. It need not be along this. Then we can nevertheless obtain a vector field tangent to S by projecting x dot or orthogonally to S alpha of t for each t in I. So you consider this x dot of t, you project x dot of t to the tangent space S alpha of t at alpha of t. Then this process of differentiating and then taking projection is known as the covariant differentiation. So the covariant derivative x dash of t is orthogonal projection onto the tangent space of the ordinary derivative x dot of t. So the process of differentiating and then projecting onto the tangent space to S defines an operation with the same properties as differentiation, except that now differentiation of vector field tangent to S yields a vector field tangent to S. This operation is called covariant differentiation. So first taking the derivative x dot of t, then projecting that onto the tangent space is known as the covariant differentiation. Let S be an n surface in Rn plus 1. Alpha from I to S be a parameterized curve in S, and let x be a smooth vector field tangent to S along alpha. The covariant derivative of x is the vector field x prime tangent to S along alpha, defined by x prime of t is x dot of t minus x dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t, where n is an orientation on S. Note that x prime of t is independent of the choice of n, since replacing n by minus n has no effect in the formula. So if you replace n with minus n, you will get two negative signs here that will cancel to get the same derivative. Replacing n with minus n has no effect on the formula for covariant derivative. Now we discuss some properties of covariant derivatives. Let S be an n surface in Rn plus 1. Alpha from I to S be a parameterized curve, and let x and y be vector fields tangent to S along alpha. Verify that x plus y whole prime equal to x prime plus y prime, fx whole prime is equal to f prime x plus fx prime, x dot y whole prime is equal to x prime dot y plus x dot y prime for all smooth functions f along alpha. So we prove one proof. We have x prime of t is x dot of t minus x dot of t dot n of alpha of t into n of alpha of t. Therefore, x plus y whole prime of t is x plus y whole dot of t minus x plus y whole dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t. That is equal to x dot of t plus y dot of t minus x dot of t plus y dot of t dot n of alpha of t into n of alpha of t. So this is equal to x dot of t plus y dot of t minus x dot of t in dot n of alpha of t plus y dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t. So this is equal to x dot of t minus x dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t plus y dot of t minus y dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t. So that is equal to x prime of t plus y prime of t, that is x plus y whole prime of t covariant derivative is x prime of t plus y prime of t. We prove 2. We have fx whole prime of t. The covariant derivative of fx is fx whole dot of t minus fx whole dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t. This is the covariant derivative of fx. So you can apply product rule here. So this is equal to f prime of t into x of t plus f of t into x of t. Applying product rule minus, again applying product rule here, you will get f prime of t into x of t plus, this is x dot of t, f of t into x dot of t dot n of alpha of t into n of alpha of t. So this is equal to f prime of t x of t plus f of t x dot of t minus, you can take n of alpha of t inside, so this is minus f prime of t x of t dot n of alpha of t plus f of t x dot of t dot n of alpha of t into n of alpha of t. You know that x is in the tangent space and n of alpha of t is the normal there. So x of t dot n of alpha of t is 0. So this term is 0. So remaining you are getting, this is f prime of t into x of t plus f of t into x dot of t minus f of t into x dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t. So this is equal to f prime of t into x of t plus, you can take f of t outside here, f of t into x dot of t minus x dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t. This is f of t into. So this is equal to f prime of t x of t plus f of t into, you know that this is x prime of t, covariant derivative of x. So this is equal to f prime x plus f x prime of t. That is fx whole prime is f prime x plus f x prime. That is covariant derivative of f x equal to f prime x plus f into covariant derivative of x. We prove 3. Remember that x dot y is a scalar function like f And from the previous chapter, x dot y the whole prime is equal to x dot y plus x dot y dot. This is from the previous chapter. So take this as equation 1. Now you consider x prime dot y plus x dot y prime. This is equal to, you know that x prime is x dot of t minus x dot of t dot n of alpha of t times n of alpha of t dot y plus x dot y prime is y dot of t minus y dot of t dot n of alpha of t into n of alpha of t. So this is equal to, you know that n of alpha of t dot y is 0 because y is orthogonal to n of alpha of t. Y is in the tangent space, and since x is in the tangent space, x dot n of alpha of t is 0. So these two terms cancels. We are getting this as x dot of t dot y of t. So this is actually y of t of t plus, here you are getting x of t. So this is actually x of t dot plus x of t dot. So this is x of t dot, you are getting y dot of t. Therefore x prime dot y plus x dot y prime is x dot y plus x dot y dot. So this is equation 2. So from 1 and 2, x dot y whole prime derivative of x dot y, so it is a scalar function, it is equal to covariant derivative of x dot y plus x dot covariant derivative of y. Intuitively, the covariant derivative x dash measures rate of change of x along alpha as seen from the surface S, ignoring component of x dot normal to S. Note that a parameterized curve alpha from I to S is a geodesic in S if and only if its covariant acceleration alpha dot dash is 0 along alpha. The covariant derivative leads naturally to a concept of parallelism on an n surface. In Rn plus 1, vectors V equal to PV belongs to Rpn plus 1 and W is equal to QW belongs to RQn plus 1 are said to be Euclidean parallel if V equal to W. So you consider these two vectors. So this is PV and this is QW. They are parallel if V is equal to W. These two vectors are equal. A vector field X along a parameterized curve alpha. A parameterized curve alpha from I to Rn plus 1 is Euclidean parallel if x of t1 is equal to x of t2 for all t1 and t2 in I, where x of t is alpha of t, x of t for all t in I. That is, you consider a parameterized curve alpha like this and a vector field x along the curve alpha, then the vector field is said to be Euclidean parallel if x1 of t equal to x2 of t, where x1 of t is alpha of t, x of t1 and x2 of t is alpha of t, x of t2. So x1 of, if x1 of t is this one, x2 of t will be this vector. Thus x is Euclidean parallel along alpha if and only if x dot equal to 0. X is Euclidean parallel along alpha if and only if x dot equal to 0. And given an n surface S in Rn plus 1 and a parameterized curve alpha from I to S, a smooth vector field x tangent to S along alpha is said to be Levi-Civita parallel or simply parallel if its covariant derivative is 0. Intuitively, X is parallel along alpha, that is X is Levi-Civita parallel along alpha if X is a constant vector field along alpha as seen from S. Now we discuss some properties of Levi-Civita parallelism. So these are the properties. First property, if X is parallel along alpha, then X has constant length. So we can prove this. Proof. Let X is Levi-Civita parallel along alpha. So this implies covariant derivative of X is 0. Now we are going to show that it has constant length. You consider d by dt of norm of x of t square. So this is d by dt of x of t dot x of t. So this is equal to x of t dot x of t whole dot whole prime. So this is equal to x prime of t dot x of t plus x of t dot x prime of t. This is the covariant derivative. So this is 2 times covariant derivative of x of t dot x of t. So this is equal to 0 since covariant derivative of x is 0. Therefore, norm of x of t, the whole square, is a constant. Therefore, x has a constant length. Now you can prove second property. If x and y are two parallel vector fields along alpha, then x dot y is a constant along alpha. Now you consider the derivative of x dot y prime equal to covariant derivative of x dot y plus x dot covariant derivative of y. You know that covariant derivative of x is 0 and covariant derivative of y is 0. Therefore, this quantity is 0. So x dot y is a constant. Now, if x and y are parallel along alpha, then the angle cos inverse x dot y divided by norm x into norm y between x and y is a constant along alpha. This is because x dot y is a constant by the previous property and norm x and norm y are constants. And if x and y are parallel along alpha, then x plus y and cx for all c in R are also parallel along alpha. The velocity vector field along a parameterized curve alpha in S is parallel if and only if alpha is a geodesic. Now, if x is Euclidean parallel, then x is Levi-Civita parallel. X is Euclidean parallel implies x dot equal to 0. So this implies covariant derivative of x is x dot minus x dot dot n composition alpha of t, x of t, x prime of t. This is into n of alpha of t. So this is equal to 0 because x dot is 0. Therefore, x is Levi-Civita parallel. Now we prove this theorem. Let S be an n surface in Rn plus 1. Let alpha from I to S be parameterized curve in S. Let T naught belongs to I and let V belongs to S of alpha of T naught. Then there exists a unique vector field V tangent to S along alpha, which is parallel and has V of T naught equal to V. So we require a vector field V tangent to S along alpha satisfying V prime equal to 0. Because we are going to show that there exists a unique vector field V tangent to S along alpha. Our aim is to show that there exists a unique vector field V tangent to S along alpha which is parallel. Which is parallel means which is Levi-Civita parallel. We are going to prove the existence of a vector field V tangent to S along alpha satisfying V prime, the covariant derivative equal to 0. Now, you know that covariant derivative V prime is equal to V dot minus V dot n composition alpha into n composition alpha. So, this is V dot minus V dot n composition alpha prime minus V dot n composition alpha times n composition alpha. So, this step can be illustrated like this. You consider V dot n composition alpha whole prime. This is equal to, this is the dot product, so it is a scalar function, so it is the usual derivative. This is equal to V dot n composition alpha plus V dot n composition alpha dot. Then from this V dot n composition alpha is, this one is, so this implies V dot n composition alpha, this one, this quantity is V dot n composition alpha whole prime minus V dot n composition alpha dot. So that is what this step. So that V dot n composition alpha, this one can be replaced with V dot n composition alpha prime minus V dot n composition alpha. Then on expanding, we will get this is V dot plus V dot n composition alpha prime into n composition alpha minus V dot n composition alpha dot into n composition alpha. So we have this differential equation. This is equal to V dot plus V dot n composition alpha dot into n composition alpha minus V dot n composition alpha whole prime into n composition alpha. And you know that V is tangent to S along alpha. We have V is a tangent to S along alpha. So this implies V is orthogonal to n composition alpha. So this implies V dot n composition alpha is 0. So this implies V dot n composition alpha prime, this is equal to 0. So here this quantity becomes 0. So finally you are getting it as V dot plus V dot n composition alpha times n composition alpha. That is this differential equation. Therefore, covariant derivative of V equal to 0 if and only if V satisfies the differential equation V dot plus V dot n composition alpha dot into n composition alpha is 0. This is a first order differential equation in V. If we write V of t as alpha of t, V1 of t, etc., Vn plus 1 of t, this vector differential equation becomes the system of first order differential equation dvi by dt plus the sigma is j is equal to 1 to n plus 1 ni composition alpha into nj composition alpha prime Vj equal to 0, where nj, j belongs to 1, 2, etc., n plus 1 are components of n. So by the existence and uniqueness theorem of solutions of first order differential equations, there exists a unique vector field V along alpha satisfying the equation P. So this equation together with initial conditions V of t naught equal to V, that is satisfying Vi of t naught equal to Vi for I belongs to 1, 2, etc., n plus 1, where V is alpha of t naught, V1, etc., Vn plus 1. So the existence and uniqueness theorem does not guarantee, however, that V is tangent to S along alpha. So what we have obtained is V dash is 0 if and only if V satisfies this differential equation, and this differential equation has a unique solution satisfying V of t naught equal to V. Now we are going to show that V is tangent to S. And to see this, You consider V dot n composition alpha prime. So you know that it is V dot n composition alpha plus V dot n composition alpha dot. Substitute for V dot n composition alpha from this equation. So you know that V dot equal to, from this equation, V dot equal to minus V dot n composition alpha dot into n composition alpha. So you substitute for V here. So substituting for V dot here, substituting for V dot here, you are getting from this equation P, this is equal to minus V dot n composition alpha into n composition alpha dot n composition alpha plus V dot n composition alpha dot. So this, we have substituted for V dot from this equation. You know that V dot is negative of this. So that is substituted here. Then on simplification, you can see that this is V dot n composition alpha into n composition alpha dot n composition alpha is 1 plus V dot n composition alpha dot, this quantity. So adding these two, you are getting 0. So V dot n composition alpha dot is 0, means V dot n composition alpha is a constant along alpha. And since you know that V dot n of alpha of T naught, that is equal to V dot n of alpha of T naught, this is equal to 0. This constant must be 0. So finally this vector field V tangent to S along alpha is parallel because it satisfies the equation. So you have proved that V dot n composition alpha is 0 and V satisfies the differential equation so that covariant derivative is 0. Therefore, which establishes the theorem. There exists a unique vector field V tangent to S along alpha which is parallel and has V of T naught equal to V. So this proves that theorem. Now we discuss the corollary to the previous theorem. Let S be a two surface in R3 and let alpha from I to S be a geodesic in S with alpha dot not equal to 0. Then a vector field X tangent to S along alpha is parallel along alpha if and only if both norm X and the angle between X and alpha dot are constant along alpha. So we prove this. Proof. Assume that X is parallel along alpha. Then X prime is 0 or covariant derivative of X is 0. That is d by dt of, and you know d by dt of norm of X square. This is equal to d by dt of X dot X. So this is X dot X whole prime. So this is equal to X prime dot X plus X dot X prime. So this is 2 times X dot X prime. This is equal to 0. Therefore, norm X has constant length along alpha. Now since alpha from I to S is a geodesic, it follows that the covariant acceleration alpha dot dash equal to 0. This is because you know that alpha double dot is everywhere orthogonal to S, so it has no tangential component. So alpha dot dash equal to 0 along alpha. That is, alpha dot is Levi-Civita parallel or parallel along alpha. Therefore, norm of alpha dot is constant by the previous discussion. So you know that if X is parallel along alpha, norm of X is constant. You know that alpha dot is parallel along alpha, so norm of alpha dot is constant. Now further, norm X is constant norm alpha dot is constant, and x dot alpha dot is also constant or constant is constant. Cos theta, you know, cos theta is x dot alpha dot divided by norm of x dot norm alpha dot. This is a constant. So this implies theta equal to cos inverse x dot alpha dot divided by norm x into norm alpha dot is constant. Therefore, angle between x and alpha dot are constant along alpha. Now we will prove that x is parallel. That's the converse part. Conversely, assume that norm x and angle theta between x and alpha dot are constant along alpha. We'll prove that x is parallel. Let t naught belongs to I and v belongs to s alpha t naught be a unit vector orthogonal to alpha dot of t naught. Then by previous theorem, there exists a unique parallel vector field v, capital V, tangent to s along alpha. We have norm v is a constant. We have norm v is a constant. But norm of v of t naught, this is equal to norm v, little v. You know that v of t naught is p. So this is equal to 1 because it is a unit vector orthogonal to alpha of t naught. Therefore, from this you are getting norm of capital V is 1. Now, you know that alpha from I to S is a geodesic. Now, alpha from I to S is a geodesic. This implies alpha dot is parallel along alpha. You know that alpha double dot is orthogonal to S, so it has no tangential component. So covariant acceleration is 0. So alpha dot is parallel along alpha. Alpha dot dash is 0. So this implies V dot alpha dot is a constant along alpha. You know that alpha dot is parallel along alpha and V is parallel. So V dot alpha dot is a constant along alpha. But V dot alpha dot of t naught, this is equal to V of t naught dot alpha dot of t naught. So this is little v dot alpha dot of t naught. You know that this is 0 since v is orthogonal to alpha dot of t naught. So this implies So you know that v dot alpha dot is constant along alpha, and we are getting v dot alpha at t naught is 0. So v dot alpha dot is 0 on I. Therefore v dot alpha dot equal to 0 on I. Now since alpha dot not equal to 0, we see that the set alpha dot of t v of t form an orthogonal basis to the two-dimensional subspace S alpha of t of R3 alpha of t for all t in I. Now since x is tangent to S, you know that x belongs to S alpha of t for all t in I. Therefore x of t is spanned by alpha dot of t and v of t. So x of t is f of t into alpha dot of t plus g of t into v of t for all t in I, where f and g are smooth real valued real functions, where f and g are smooth, where smooth functions, where f g maps from I to R. You know that norm of x square is x dot x. So this is f square norm alpha dot square plus g square norm v square. This is because x is f alpha dot plus gv. X dot alpha dot is f of t into norm alpha dot square. Norm alpha dot of t square. So taking dot product with alpha dot, you will get this, because x is f alpha plus gv and alpha dot is orthogonal to v, or v dot alpha dot is 0. Therefore cos theta equal to x of t dot alpha dot of t divided by norm x of t into norm alpha dot of t. So this is equal to f of t into norm alpha dot of t the whole square from this divided by norm x of t into norm alpha dot of t. So this is equal to f of t into norm alpha dot of t divided by norm x of t. Now since alpha dot is parallel, we see that norm alpha dot is a constant. So in this expression cos theta, norm of alpha dot of t and x of t, norm of x of t are constant, so that will imply that f of t is a constant. So this implies f is constant. So let f of t is equal to capital M for all t in I. Therefore norm x square equal to m square norm alpha dot square plus g square. This is because g square into norm v square, and this is m square norm alpha dot square plus g square, since norm v square is 1, or norm v is 1, and this is norm x square. So you know that norm x square is a constant, norm alpha square is a constant, and this is constant. So this implies g is a constant. Since norm x is constant, g is constant. So you let g of t equal to n for all t in I. so that x of t equal to m alpha dot of t plus n v of t, where m and n are constants for all t in I. Now alpha dot is parallel, implies m alpha dot is parallel, and v of t is parallel, implies nv is parallel, where m and n are constant. So this implies m alpha dot plus nv is parallel. So this implies x is parallel. So this is what we have to prove. So this proves the corollary. Now parallelism can be used to transport tangent vectors from one point to another on an n surface. Given 2 points P and Q in an n surface S, a parameterized curve in S from P to Q is a smooth map alpha from AB to S from a closed interval AB into S with alpha of A equal to P and alpha of B is equal to Q. By smoothness of a map alpha defined on the closed interval, we mean that alpha is the restriction to AB of a smooth map from some open interval containing AB to S. Such a parameterized curve alpha from AB to S from P to Q determines a map P alpha from SP to SQ by P alpha of V is equal to V of B, where SP is the tangent space at P and SQ is the tangent space at Q, and V belongs to SP. So P alpha is from SP to SQ. So P alpha of V is equal to V of B, where V belongs to SP. V is the unique parallel vector field along alpha with V of A equal to V, and P alpha of V is called the parallel transport or parallel translate of V along alpha to Q. For example, you consider the n surface as the sphere, and you consider this be the vector V at the point P, vector V, and suppose that alpha naught is this curve, then P alpha naught of V is this vector. So this vector is translated to this vector under P. And similarly, if alpha pi by 4 is this curve, then V is translated to this vector P alpha pi by 4 of V. So this is actually alpha pi by 4 of V. So this V is translated to this vector. So this vector is the transport of this vector along this curve. Similarly, you consider P alpha pi by 2 of V. So this curve, then this vector is translated to this vector P alpha pi by 2 of V. So this illustrates the method of parallel transport. Now we do a problem. For theta belongs to R, let alpha theta closed interval 0 pi to S2 be a parameterized curve on the unit 2 sphere S2 from the north pole P equal to 0 0 1 to the south pole Q equal to 0 0 minus 1, defined by alpha theta of t is equal to cos theta sin t sin theta sin t cos t. Find P alpha theta of V for V equal to at P 1 0 0. So this is the situation. You consider the two sphere, and you consider the north pole and you consider the south pole. Then these are the parameterized curve given by alpha theta. Alpha theta given by cos theta sin theta sin t cos t. What we have to do is you consider the vector 1 0 0. So you consider this vector, then you have to consider the transport, parallel transport of this along this curve. So we are going to show that parallel transport of this vector along this curve, that is alpha 0 of V, alpha 0 of t, is this vector, etc. So this is the situation. So first of all, we have to show that alpha theta of t is a geodesic. So solution, we are given with, we have alpha theta of t is cos theta sin t, sin theta sin t, and cos t. So you have alpha theta of t dot alpha theta of t. This is equal to cos theta sin t, sin theta sin t, cos t dot cos theta sin t, sin theta sin t, cos t. So taking the dot product, you will get this as cos square theta sin square t plus sin square theta sin square t plus cos square t. So you can say that this is sin square t into cos square theta plus sin square theta plus cos square t. So this is equal to sin square t plus cos square t. So this is 1. And consider alpha theta of 0. Alpha theta of 0 is cos theta sin 0, sin theta sin 0, cos 0. So this is equal to, so sin 0 is 0, this is 0, so 0, 0, 1. We let it be p. And alpha theta of pi, this is cos theta sin pi, sin theta sin pi, cos pi. So this is equal to 0, 0, minus 1. You take this as q. We let E1 equal to cos theta sin theta 0 and E2 equal to 0, 0, 1. Then you know that norm of E1 is cos square theta plus sin square theta plus 0. So this is 1, and norm of E2 is 1. And their dot product is 0. E1 dot E2 is 0. And E1 dot E2 is 0. And you consider alpha theta of t. And alpha theta of t is sin t E1 plus cos t E2. You can see that this is sin t into E1 is cos theta sin theta 0 plus cos t into 0, 0, 1. So this is equal to sin t cos theta sin t sin theta and cos t. So you can see that there is alpha theta of t. So alpha theta of t can be written as sin t E1 plus cos t E2. So you know that this is a great circle on the sphere from our previous example. So this implies alpha theta of t, that is equal to sin t E1 plus cos t E2, is the great circle on S2, which is a geodesic on S2 from P to Q. Norm of alpha theta of t is 1. as you know. Now you define a vector v theta of t equal to cos theta alpha dot of t, alpha theta dot of t minus sin theta n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t. Consider this vector. And you know that n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t is orthogonal to both n of alpha theta of t and alpha theta dot of t. So we have n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t is orthogonal to both alpha theta dot of t and n of alpha theta of t. This you know. Also, alpha theta dot of t. This is the derivative of alpha theta of t. You know alpha theta of t is cos theta sin t, sin theta sin t cos t. So its derivative is cos theta cos t, sin theta cos t minus sin t. So alpha theta dot is of t is cos theta cos t sin theta cos t minus sin t. Therefore, norm of alpha theta dot of t, this is equal to square root of cos square theta cos square t plus sin square theta sin square t plus sin square t. So this is actually equal to square root of 1. So that is 1 itself. And we have n of alpha of t is alpha theta of t is del f of alpha theta of t divided by norm del f of alpha theta of t. This you know. And you know that f of x1 x2 x3 is x1 square plus x2 square plus x3 square. Therefore, del f by norm del f is n of alpha theta of t. Therefore, n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t, this is equal to determinant I j k. You know n of alpha theta of t is cos theta sin t sin theta sin t cos t, and you know the derivative of alpha theta of t is cos theta cos t sin theta cos t minus sin t. This you already know. Now on expanding this determinant, you will get this is equal to I into minus sin square t sin theta minus cos square t sin theta minus j into minus cos theta sin square t minus cos square t is cos theta plus k into cos theta sin t sin theta cos t minus cos theta cos t sin theta sin t. So this is, you can take minus sin theta outside, so minus sin theta into I. remaining is sin square t plus cos square t, that is 1, plus you can take cos theta outside minus cos theta outside, cancelling with this you will get cos theta into j plus k into 0. Therefore n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t is minus sin theta cos theta 0, and norm of n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t, this is equal to square root of sin square theta plus cos square theta plus 0, this is 1. And you also know that and n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t dot alpha theta dot of t, this is 0 because this vector is orthogonal to this one. And you consider norm v theta square. So this is v theta of t dot v theta of t. By definition, this is, we have assumed that v theta t is cos theta into alpha theta dot of t minus sin theta into n of alpha theta of t cross alpha dot theta of t. This dot, the same one, cos theta alpha theta dot of t minus sin theta into n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t. So on taking the dot product, you will get this as norm of cos theta alpha theta dot of t whole square plus sin theta into norm of sin theta into n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t square plus you get alpha theta dot into this term, so that will be 0, and this alpha theta dot of t into this term, that is 0 plus 0. So this is equal to cos square theta into norm alpha theta dot of t is 1 plus sin square theta into norm of this is also 1. So this is ultimately equal to 1. So this implies norm v theta is 1. So this implies v theta is constant along alpha. Now you consider v theta dot alpha dot of t. So you'll get this as cos theta alpha theta dot of t minus sin theta into n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta dot of t, that dot alpha theta dot of t, taking this dot product. So you can see that this quantity into alpha theta dot of t is 0. So remaining is cos theta into norm alpha theta dot of t the whole square. So this is cos theta. Therefore, angle between v theta and alpha theta dot of t This is given by cos inverse v theta dot alpha theta dot of t divided by norm v theta into norm alpha theta dot. This is equal to cos inverse. You know that this quantity is cos theta and these two quantities are 1. So this is actually equal to theta. That is, the angle between v theta and alpha dot of theta is a constant. It is independent of t. So it is a constant. Therefore, norm v theta and angle between v theta and alpha theta dot are constants. And we have already seen that alpha theta is a geodesic on S2 with alpha theta dot not equal to 0. Therefore, v theta is a parallel vector field tangent to S along alpha, tangent to S2 along alpha. Further, v theta of 0, this is equal to, it's actually vector, cos theta into alpha theta dot of 0 minus sin theta into n of alpha theta of 0 cross alpha dot of 0. So this is equal to cos theta into, you know that alpha theta dot, you already know that alpha theta dot of t is cos theta cos t sin theta cos t minus sin t. So this is cos theta cos 0 sin theta cos 0 minus sin 0 minus sin theta into, you know, n of alpha theta of t cross alpha theta of t is minus sin theta cos theta 0 minus sin theta cos theta 0. So this is equal to cos theta sin theta minus sin 0, so that is 0, minus sin theta into minus sin theta cos theta 0. So we are getting this as cos square theta cos theta sin theta 0 plus sin square theta minus cos theta sin theta 0. So you are getting this as cos square theta plus sin square theta 0 0. So this is 1 0 0. So you have v theta of 0 is the vector 1 0 0. And p alpha theta of v is actually v theta of pi is translated to the south pole, v theta of pi. So this is equal to cos theta alpha theta dot of pi minus sin theta into n of alpha theta of pi cross alpha theta dot of pi. So this is equal to cos theta into, you know that alpha theta dot of t is cos theta cos t sin theta cos t minus sin t. So alpha theta dot of pi is cos theta cos pi sin theta cos pi minus sin pi minus sin theta into minus sin theta cos theta 0. So this is minus sine theta, cos theta, 0. So we'll get this as cos square theta into cos pi is minus 1. So minus cos square theta minus cos theta sine theta 0 is plus minus sine square theta. So this is actually plus. So we'll get this as, this is actually plus sine square theta. So minus cos square theta plus sine square theta minus 2 cos theta sine theta 0. So this is minus of sine square theta minus cos square theta 2 sine theta cos theta 0. So this is minus cos 2 theta sine 2 theta 0. Therefore, P alpha theta of V, this is equal to actually V theta of pi. So it is the vector acting at Q given by, so you may write negative outside, cos 2 theta sine 2 theta 0. So in particular, if theta is 0, P alpha 0 of V, this is V 0 of pi, this is actually equal to minus Q at acting at Q cos 0 sine 0 0. So this is minus acting at Q negative of cos 0 1 0 0, that is this vector. The meaning of this is the vector 1 0 0 is parallelly transported to minus 1 0 0 along alpha 0 of t. So this is the meaning of this. So you can see that the vector V, that is 1 0 0, this is the vector. You know that x1 axis is along this, x2 axis is along this, and x3 axis is along this. So the vector 1 0 0, this vector is transported parallelly along, or parallel transported along alpha 0. Alpha 0 is this curve. So this is a part of the great circle. From this point to this point, this is the point Q. So V, this vector V, that is 1 0 0, is transported to minus 1 0 0. So that is this vector. Similarly, if you take angle to be theta equal to pi by 4, then this vector V is transported to this vector. And if you take angle theta to be pi by 2, then you can see that this vector is transported to this vector. But when theta is pi by 2, you know that when theta is pi by 2, you know P alpha pi by 2 of V, this is equal to V pi by 2 of pi. So this is minus, that is equal to minus at P cos 2 pi by 2 sine 2 pi by 2 0. So you can see that this is equal to the vector at P cos 2 pi by 2 cos pi, this is minus 1 0 0. So this is actually 1 0 0. So the vector, that is P alpha pi by 2 of 1 0 0 is 1 0 0 itself. So this is an example of a parallel transport along a geodesic on the two sphere. Similarly, you can check the case when theta is equal to pi by 4. The tangent vectors V belongs to SP, P belongs to S, may also be transported along piecewise smooth curves in S. So suppose that this is an n surface And this is an example of a piecewise smooth curve on the n surface. A piecewise smooth parameterized curve alpha in S is a continuous map alpha from AB to S such that the restriction of alpha to Ti plus 1 is smooth for each I in 0, 1 to etc. k, where A is equal to T naught less than T1 etc. less than Tk plus 1 equal to B. A parallel transport of V in S alpha along alpha to alpha of B is obtained by transporting V along alpha of T1 to get V1 in S alpha T1, then transporting V1 along alpha to alpha of T2 to get V2 in S alpha of T2, and so on. Finally obtaining P alpha of V by transporting Vk in S alpha of Tk along alpha to alpha of B. We do this theorem. Let S be an n surface in Rn plus 1. Let Pq belongs to S. And let alpha be a piecewise smooth parameterized curve from P to Q. Then the parallel transport P alpha from Sp to Sq along alpha is a vector space isomorphism which preserves dot products. That is, 1. P alpha is a linear map. 2. P alpha is 1 to 1 and on to. 3. P alpha of V dot P alpha of W is equal to V dot W for all V W in Sp. So we prove this. Proof. Let S be an n surface in Rn plus 1. And you choose 2 points P, Q in S. Let alpha from AB to S be a piecewise smooth parameterized curve. And you let P alpha is from Sp to Sq. The parallel transport. Now first we show that P alpha is a linear map. 1. Let V W belongs to Sp, to tangent vectors. Then there exist unique parallel vector fields V and W along alpha such that V of A is V and W of A is equal to little w. And you know that V plus, we have V plus W is parallel, Levi-Civita parallel. CV is Levi-Civita parallel, and dW is also Levi-Civita parallel along alpha. And you know that V plus W of A, this is V of A plus W of A. So this is equal to V plus W, and C into capital V of A, this is equal to C into little v, and D into W of A is D into little w. Now P alpha of V plus W, this is equal to, this is actually transporting V plus W to W at A to V plus W at B. So this is V plus W of B. So this is V of B plus W of B. So you know that this is actually P alpha of V plus P alpha of W. Similarly, P alpha of CV, this is equal to C into V of B. So this is C into P alpha of V. and P alpha of dW, this is equal to, so this is equal to dW of B. So this is D into P alpha of W. That is P alpha of CV plus dW. So that is P alpha into CV plus dW is, so that is C into P alpha of V plus D into P alpha of W. So P alpha is linear. Now we show that P alpha is 1 to 1 and on 2. So first we prove that P alpha is 1 1. Kernel of P alpha is set to fall V in SP such that P alpha of V is equal to 0. So this is set to fall V in SP such that norm P alpha of V equal to 0. So this is set to fall V in SP such that norm of P alpha of V the whole square equal to 0. So this is set to fall V in SP such that P alpha of V dot P alpha of V equal to 0. So this is set to fall V belongs to SP such that V at B dot V at B equal to 0 or V dot V equal to 0. So this is set to fall V belongs to SP such that norm V square is 0. So this is, for the time being we are assuming that P alpha preserves dot product. That will prove in next step. Using that step you are getting V dot B is 0. So V belongs to SP such that norm V square is 0. So this is set to fall V belongs to SP such that norm V equal to 0. So this is actually singleton vector 0. So this implies P alpha is 1 1. So in this proof we used the fact that P alpha preserves dot product. That will prove in next step. Now we prove P alpha is onto. We know that SP and SQ are n-dimensional subspace of RP n plus 1 and RQ n plus 1 respectively. SP and SQ are n-dimensional subspace of RP n plus 1 and RQ n plus 1 respectively. And let V1, V2, etc. Vn be a basis for SP. Then by the property of P alpha V1, P alpha V2, etc. P alpha Vn will be a basis for SQ. Is a basis for SQ. You let Z belongs to SQ. This implies Z is a linear combination of elements P alpha V1, P alpha V2, etc. So Z is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to n Ci P alpha of Vi. So this is P, because of the linearity, it is P alpha of sigma I is equal to 1 to n Ci Vi. So this is P alpha of V for V belongs to SP. This for an Z in SQ, Z is equal to P alpha of V for V in SP. So this implies P alpha is onto. Now we prove that P alpha preserves dot product. This property actually we have used in the proof of one-oneness. Now we prove that 3 P alpha preserves dot product. Let V W belongs to SP. Then there exist unique parallel vector fields capital V and capital W along alpha such that capital V of A is little b and capital W of A is little w. So all vectors, and P alpha of V is P alpha of V is V of B and P alpha of W is W of B. And P alpha of W is W of B. Now since V and W are parallel vectors along alpha, V dot W is a constant along alpha. So in particular, V dot W of at A is equal to capital V dot capital W at B, because it is constant along alpha. So this implies V of A dot W of A is equal to V of B dot W of B. All these things are capital vectors, vector fields along alpha. And you know V of A is little v and W of A is little w. This is equal to V of B is P alpha of little v and dot this is P alpha of little w. So this implies P alpha preserves dot product. So that's all for today.